Excellent video from let me get the name correct. Whoops, sorry. Power Pack on YouTube has a video called Babylon's Fall is Depressingly Bad.
Oh, I
And
watched that.
and this is a video that has about 20 minutes to explain to you what is happening with Babylon's Fall. Now, I remember last time we talked about it, you touched on some of the shit that was going wrong with the old and new versions of the game and how it all fucking went to shit. And I was like, whoa, I missed the gameplay betas that a bunch of people had. This video summarizes essentially a new beta came out on the same day as Elden Ring, and
Same fucking day.
and it allowed you to jump into the demo and feel what was going on. And oh my god, it's so much worse than I thought.
I can't. That looks like a. How do I put this? You know how people say this thing looks like a PS2 game? That game looks like a first generation, first year Xbox 360 launch title by a Japanese developer.
Here's why I disagree, because it doesn't look, I'm like, sometimes the metric for quality is not how old it looks. Sometimes it's just, it looks like a modern day game that looks terrible because you put no effort into it.
I specifically use that example because that is what the textures look like.
The textures look non-existent.
And the filters they have put on them make the shitty textures look way worse, which makes me confused.
Older games with any kind of semblance of texture work look better than this. It looks like a game that just like had to be rebuilt after the original version they put their effort into was scrapped, you know? So yeah, basically it goes on to explain, Power Pack goes on to explain that like step one of this demo, press start, create your Squeenix account.
Now, somebody who has made a Squeenix account for myself, and I made one for Paige, the Square Enix account system is without a doubt the absolute worst account system of all. It is the worst.
Yeah, and the question of, did I make one or did I not make one years ago? I must have, maybe I did, I don't know. And then it's like, yeah, go figure that out, because literally you cannot get anywhere in this game without your Squeenix account. You must be logged in, and there is no like offline, you know, solo whatever. And then it's like, okay, you see, you log in and then you get into the game, and then they've mentioned that you should be able, that if you want to, you can play this solo. You don't have to play with the 4-player online co-op stuff, but it doesn't balance itself any differently. It balances it the exact same if you're a group of 4 or if you're solo. So what you end up with is just these really long slogs of hard to kill mobs of enemies, and like and it's also hallway battle room. Like, it's such a fucking mess.
So I have a question for you, Wooly. What is the first time you personally remember encountering adaptive difficulty for multiplayer?
Probably Souls.
For me, it was December 31st, 1996, when Diablo 1 came out. And a person joined my game, and it said Diablo's minions have gotten stronger. This has been a solved problem for longer than most of the people listening to this podcast have been alive. I genuinely don't understand. Like, if I were to play this demo and I got to that point and realized it did not scale, that's the point where you just turn it off and leave, because you know the whole rest of the game is totally pointless and stupid.
Exactly. So that's the thing, is step one is that you run into that problem immediately. And then it goes into how bad the game looks, and you see how it looks so fucking trash with like just like it's cobbled together. And then anytime you cut back to the original footage of the game Platinum was going to make,
Looks way better.
it looks incredible. It looks fucking great. You know? So yeah, I you know, you see that version of it, and then you can read between the lines and tell that Squeenix goes, yeah, that's not the kind of game we want you to make. We want you to make a live service online thing that can make a lot of money when people buy microtransactions. The gas effect, the thing that I told you, I was there and I heard the meeting and I saw the stuff and the pitch, and everything's got to gas up, you know? So in this case, they told them it looks like they told them go back to the drawing board and like salvage what you can, but bring us back something that is prioritizing a 4-player online structure, live service. And then also that brings is like this insane thing where you beat one grindy level, you get a fraction of an experience point towards leveling up. And what was the other detail? Like there's a bunch of times where queuing up, like if no one is joining your queue, you just get forced into the solo version of the game anyway, where like it's again unscaled, so you get forcefully locked out or you get forcibly put into like the worst way to play it. When all 4 people join, it then becomes an unfun slog because everything just kind of melts and it doesn't matter whether you're paying attention or not. Then there's it gets to a point where there's that one trailer boss from the original trailer where you saw the big knight with the sword swinging it around, and then you steal the sword, and then you do all the big cinematic effects, and you see like slow down and cool down, and like you see shit that looks kind of like Bayonetta, like Witch Time, you know, you see stuff that looks like near weapon combos and launches and all of that, and all of that just gets thrown out and turned into like the most bland shit version of like, I guess, an MMO boss who does like an arena, what should be an arena clearing attack, but then you as a solo player cannot do enough damage in time, you know? It's a great 20-minute thing of like, what the fuck is happening with this game? And then all of that like micro incentive and bad experience drops and everything is treating the game as if it's free to play when it's a full price game.
Totally baffling. And more than that, I mean, Babylon's Fall is this weird situation where its own disaster, and it is a total disaster. Like, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking, even alone, like putting the beta out on the fucking 25th. That's insane. That's baffling. But like, its own disaster notwithstanding, is like, I remember hearing somewhere that Square Enix said to someone, we want a game that's big like that Monster Hunter.
Uh-huh.
And okay, let's look back in time, because it's predates that statement, or when I heard it. We've got Nosgoth as a gas that killed Legacy of Kain and didn't come out. We've got Marvel's Avengers, which is a disaster, and they have blown the Marvel license on. A pretty fucking important license that was real hot when that game came out.
But Pat,
we have Outriders, a game I was sponsored to play, and which its demo was actually hot, and then its full release was a fucking mess. And now we have this, where they're telling the other studios to make their own games into it again, and it's confusing because they have FF14 over there, which is a form of gas. It's a live service game. It's an MMO, and it makes all this money. And then they take this money and they go, well, we want another one. And they just make bad ones over and over and over. That's 4. That's 4.
Yes, but if you keep rolling the dice, eventually it'll hit and pay for the failures.
No, it won't.
No, we keep going. Because when we strike gold, we strike gold. It doesn't matter. throw them
That's
all in
how
the garbage, burn through developers, burn through their fucking good work, burn through IPs, light it all on fire. The one that takes off will be fucking Fortnite-esque, and it'll pay for all the rest.
But they already have that.
We want another one. They're not, clearly, he's not allowing us to get in. I learned last week that, you know, he's keeping them at bay. Yoshi's keeping them at bay.
Yoshida is literally
he's holding them off.
wide.
So what their
getting
fingers need to be in pies. And if the big pie of FF14 cannot be fingered by them, then we need to find many little pies to get the fingers in.
You know what I'm reminded of? I'm reminded of the Nightmare of Hollywood and casting and scripts. And then a new producer comes on. And then the new producer wants his writing credit and his production credit. So he fires everyone that's already been cast and he orders a complete script rewrite so that he can say that it was his project and that it succeeded because of him. And with Yoshi P on the board and Yoshi P being the creative director and the head of Business Unit 3, no one but Yoshi P can ever take credit for anything in that department.
Yeah.
So if you're on the board of Square Enix, or you're a producer, or you're an executive producer, and you want your project to make the money, it has to be all you, and it has to be a new team, and it has to be.
It's a scaled out version of the punch up effect of when you hire in writers to punch up something that doesn't need punching up, you know.
Well, I want to say I did my part, and that's why I earned the money.
Give me if I don't, or if you want to doomer it, if I don't do anything and tell them this is good, I won't get hired again.
Yeah.
Right.
One of my favorite game dev stories that I've heard from a bunch of game devs in various forms is the put in garbage features that suck so that the producer from the company will tell you to take it out. And so they can feel important.
I did it. I made that decision.
No matter what you show these people, something has to change so they can feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
So literally jam shit in there just to have it taken out.
I mean, it's the other version of the Mel Brooks strategy, you know? Like just you either just don't listen, just lie, or put the fake thing in and give it to them. You got to feed them something. They need something.
I forget what it was, but I think there was some game in which they put like some horrible sound effect or like hat on the characters that was just visually awful. And the producer just goes, "Yeah, it looks good. Just fucking take that thing out." And they're like, "No problem, boss.
Yeah,
we got it."
It is like going to continue until, you know, like there's no way out of this spiral, I don't think, as long as they don't have a winner on their hands. Like the next one, we're putting it all in on the next one. And what's fucking tragic, of course, is one, you're never going to get to see or play the original version of this game that Platinum had going. And two, Platinum has proven that they can deliver the type of game that Squeenix would need here because they did this. They did fucking an amazing job on Nier. So they know that they're trusted here. But this is what happens when you take them and you handcuff them.
People in the chat have reminded me that it was ducks flying around the queen's head in battle chess that was the birth of that story.
Hell yeah.
Just take the duck out.
I can only imagine the state of internal discussion about this game in Osaka.
Oh, you wanna fucking
right now.
See something real fucking depressing?
Like what is does Kamiya just walk by the team working on this game and just throw things? You know, like how bad is it?
There's a tweet up that's like, here's the early access times when you can play the game of Babylon's Fall, right? It has like 90 likes. and the game's out. Like, it couldn't be cared less. Thank you, darling.
Anyway, it's a great video, and yeah, I just retweeted it. It definitely caught me up to speed on what was happening, because I fucking damn, that game they were gonna put out looked like it was just gonna be that's a platinum, you know. And then the idea was like you have the floating weapons of Nier, but you use them all simultaneously. Seemed to be the main draw.
Oh, hey, Power Pack streams here right now. Hey, man.
Hey, that's cool. What's up? Anyway, I just tweeted out your thing. Good job. Good job.
Taking the hits so that we don't.
So that we don't have to. Exactly.
Garbage, man.
Out there in the trenches. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, criminally underwatched video too. Go watch it. Go give them some. Go fucking go help them out.
So Platinum's really looking forward. They're taking this experience and they're going, man, we really want to do lots more live service games, huh? Dude, that company is going to die. Like, we always knew it would die, but I feel like we're watching it die right now.
I can save them.
No, you fucking can't.
I can save them.
Woolie, they're putting out games that even you and I, massive platinum marks, are like actively mocking and as a news story on the podcast instead of, hey, this is what I played this week.
I mean, at the very least, that article turned out to not be as bad as initially sounded, right? Like, about the focus change for the future. Anyways, folks, I think it's the shackles of a shit publisher will always be their nightmare. Like, it's straight up, like, whether it be Scalebound, whether it be Squeenix, whether it be fucking the Ninja Turtles, you know what I mean? Like, it's brutal every time someone has to come in and tell them what to do about that shit. But at the same time, like, left to their own devices making the amazing game, if they're not selling anywhere near the numbers they need to, then something else has to change, and we get into the same depressing conversation again.
Well, first of all, they need the money to make that amazing game, which they don't have because their games don't sell.
Yep, that's what I'm getting at, you know? So, anyway. That's
looking forward to that Astral Chain sequel the ending teased.
That's what's going on with Babylon's Fall.